The mystery surrounding John Denver has finally been resolved, and the truth isn't pleasant. Born as Henry John Deutschendorf Jr. on December 31, 1943, in Roswell, New Mexico, Denver grew up in a military family. His father served as a pilot in the U.S. Air Force, which meant the family was constantly on the move. This nomadic upbringing left him with a persistent feeling of rootlessness, but it also gave him a deep, lasting appreciation for the vast beauty of the American landscape, an appreciation that would later shape and inspire much of his music. Denver's passion for music was sparked early in his life. When he was just 11 years old, his grandmother gave him his first guitar, a gift that would change the trajectory of his life forever. Influenced by iconic performers like Elvis Presley and the folk musicians of the 1960s, he began to develop his unique musical voice while attending Texas Tech University. Later, he relocated to Los Angeles to chase his dream of becoming a musician, changing his name to Denver, as a tribute to the capital of Colorado, a place he loved deeply and often honored in his songs. His breakthrough came in 1969 when he wrote Leaving on a Jet Plane, a song that became a massive hit for Peter, Paul, and Mary. The success of that track established Denver as a rising songwriting talent, and it wasn't long before he stepped into the spotlight as a performer himself. The 1970s marked the height of his stardom, as he gained international recognition with a series of timeless hits like Take Me Home, Country Roads, Annie's Song, Rocky Mountain High, Sunshine on My Shoulders, and Thank God I'm a Country Boy. These songs beautifully captured both America's natural charm and raw emotional depth. Denver's style, an elegant fusion of folk, country, and pop, was instantly recognizable, built around his tender tenor voice and acoustic melodies. But Denver wasn't just a musical icon. He also proved himself a versatile entertainer throughout the 1970s and 1980s, starring in several films and TV specials. One of his most memorable roles came in the 1977 comedy Oh, God!, where he acted alongside comedy legend George Burns. The movie was a box office hit and highlighted Denver's natural charm and sincerity on screen. His grounded, heartfelt presence perfectly balanced Burns' witty humor, making the film a beloved classic that managed to weave thoughtful messages into its comedic fabric. Beyond this role, Denver's numerous TV appearances further demonstrated his widespread appeal and his ability to engage audiences across different forms of media. Though best remembered as a musician, Denver continued creating new music well into the 1990s. He evolved artistically while remaining true to the folk and country foundations that had defined his career. As time went on, his music increasingly reflected a growing commitment to environmental issues. A passionate defender of nature and wildlife, Denver often used his songs and public presence to promote awareness around ecological challenges. He was deeply involved in conservation efforts and championed sustainable living, motivated by a belief in preserving the planet for future generations. Denver's advocacy extended beyond the environment. He was also a fervent supporter of space exploration, fascinated by the possibilities that lay beyond Earth. This wasn't just a hobby for him. He actively supported campaigns that lobbied for more funding and public backing for NASA and other space programs. He saw human exploration of space as a crucial step forward for civilization. Moreover, Denver stood firm when it came to protecting artistic freedom. During a time when musicians were being pushed to censor their content or risk having their songs banned from airplay, he testified before the U.S. Congress to oppose censorship in the music industry. His speech reflected a powerful belief that music is a vital tool for truth, inspiration, and human connection, and it must not be hindered by controlling regulations. Through these various forms of activism, Denver revealed a deeper, more complex side of himself, one that went far beyond his image as a gentle singer-songwriter. John Denver's legacy extends far beyond his musical achievements. He was deeply committed to principled activism and civic involvement. At the heart of his identity was a profound love for Colorado, a state whose natural splendor profoundly shaped his lifestyle and creative output. Denver chose to settle in Aspen, Colorado, spending much of his adult life surrounded by the grandeur of the Rocky Mountains and immersed in the town's vibrant outdoor culture. Aspen wasn't just where he lived, it became a wellspring of inspiration and emotional renewal. The beauty of the landscape and the spirit of the community often found their way into his music, as he penned heartfelt tributes to the region's majestic scenery. In 1974, Colorado officially recognized Denver's contributions by naming him the state's poet laureate. This honor reflected his powerful role in promoting the state's image and spirit through his evocative songwriting. His deep-rooted bond with Colorado was immortalized in the song Rocky Mountain High, a track that captured his reverence for the wilderness and the transformative effect of nature. The song resonated so strongly with Coloradans that, in 2007, the state legislature declared it one of Colorado's 2 official state songs. This recognition celebrated not only Denver's talent but the way his lyrics encapsulated the essence of the state's identity. Denver's ability to evoke a sense of place wasn't limited to Colorado. His iconic hit Take Me Home, Country Roads became an anthem for West Virginia, even though he had no personal ties to the state. The song's wistful longing and emotional connection to home struck a chord with listeners nationwide. In 2014, West Virginia adopted the song as one of its official state anthems, a move that further solidified Denver's lasting influence on American culture and regional pride. But Denver's impact wasn't confined to music and regional tributes. He was also a passionate environmentalist and humanitarian. Using his celebrity status as a platform for advocacy, he championed causes such as environmental conservation, world hunger relief, and global peace, particularly throughout the 1970s and 1980s. He established the Winstar Foundation, an organization dedicated to environmental education and sustainable living. He also served as a UNICEF spokesman, working tirelessly to promote humanitarian efforts worldwide. These values echoed throughout his music, which often conveyed messages of unity, love, and stewardship of the earth. Beyond his music and activism, Denver became a beloved presence on television. He hosted popular specials like the John Denver Special, where his warm, approachable nature and sincere connection with viewers were on full display. He also explored acting, appearing in films and TV specials that showcased his wide-ranging talents and affable charm. On a personal level, Denver's first marriage played a significant role in shaping both his life and music. He married Annie Martell in 1967. Hailing from St. Peter, Minnesota, Annie was more than a life partner, she was a muse who inspired some of his most enduring work. Their relationship blossomed during Denver's early career, offering him emotional grounding during those uncertain, formative years. Among the most beloved songs born from their relationship was Annie's Song, which he famously composed in just 10 minutes while riding a ski lift in Colorado. The song captured the serenity, love, and awe he felt for Annie and the beauty around them. Between 1968 and 1971, the couple lived in Edina, Minnesota, a suburban setting quite different from the mountainous regions Denver would later call home. Still, this period provided stability during his rise to stardom. Even as his fame grew and his path led him back to Colorado's high peaks, the emotional truths of that chapter in Minnesota would remain a part of his story, anchoring his music in personal experience and heartfelt sincerity. While flying his own experimental aircraft, the Rutan Long EZ, John Denver encountered a catastrophic failure. What began as a routine flight quickly turned tragic. Early reports chalked up the crash to either pilot error or mechanical malfunction. However, as investigations progressed, more complicated truths came to light. Authorities discovered Denver had been contending with serious cockpit control issues. The fuel selector valve, a critical component, had been left in the wrong position. As a result, the plane suffered fuel starvation, which caused the engine to cut out mid-flight. The malfunction ultimately led to a fatal crash into the Pacific Ocean, just off the coast of California. Digging deeper, investigators uncovered further flaws. The aircraft had inherent design issues that were not fully known or properly disclosed. Its safety features fell short of acceptable standards. Denver had previously voiced concerns about the aircraft's fuel system, but those warnings went unheeded. No meaningful repairs or advice were provided. This negligence, along with insufficient support from the plane's manufacturer, played a major role in the tragedy. But the story doesn't end with mechanical failure. It stretches into the personal struggles Denver faced during the years leading up to his death. While his public persona radiated joy, optimism, and a deep love for nature, his private life told a different story. He grappled with emotional distress, the heavy burdens of fame, and strained personal relationships. A particularly difficult divorce had left lasting emotional scars. Some accounts even suggest Denver was experiencing bouts of depression and operating under extreme stress, factors that may have clouded his judgment on that fateful day. Although rumors of substance abuse have surfaced over the years, no credible evidence has ever tied drugs or alcohol to the crash. Rather than a case of intoxication, the incident appears to be a devastating mix of technical oversight and human vulnerability, a tragic confluence that ended the life of a beloved musician and cultural figure. Perhaps most unsettling is how these revelations challenge the way John Denver has long been remembered. To countless fans, he represented a gentle, idealistic artist who lived in harmony with the natural world. Learning that neglected warnings and potential lapses in judgment contributed to his demise adds a somber layer to his legacy. Some critics argue that the crash might have been avoided altogether had Denver received better flight training, flown with improved equipment, or undergone more thorough aircraft inspections. This brings forward troubling questions of accountability, not just for the pilot, but for the regulatory oversight, or lack thereof, surrounding experimental aircraft. The tragic conclusion to John Denver's life stands as a grim reminder on several fronts. For admirers, it's a painful realization that talent and stardom offer no immunity from human frailties or unexpected dangers. For the aviation industry, it highlights the pressing need for stronger safety measures, open communication about aircraft design risks, and comprehensive pilot training, particularly for those venturing into experimental or home-built planes. In the years since the accident, Denver's story has sparked renewed calls for reform. Advocates are pushing for tighter regulations, better training, and enhanced scrutiny of light aircraft. The lessons taken from this heartbreaking episode now form a legacy of their own, one meant to protect future pilots and enthusiasts from repeating a tragedy that, in hindsight, could have been prevented.